You may have seen billionaire kids flaunt yachts, outfits, and supercars on Instagram. But what if I told you that the richest teen in the world barely shows his face and still gets the entire internet obsessed? This is the life of Barron Trump, the son of the current president of the United States. Barron Trump lives a life that's so rarefied, so out of reach, it almost feels fictional. He's practically royalty, but American style. People can't stop talking about him, not because he posts online or craves attention, but because he doesn't. That mystery, paired with power, has made Barron Trump one of the most intriguing figures of his generation. He's not a singer, not a content creator, and yet every time he's spotted, even for 5 seconds, he goes viral. Why? Because he lives in a world most of us will never get close to. Think private jets, armored limos, luxury compounds, and yes, rooms gilded in gold. Barron was born into wealth, but his life now is shaped by something even more powerful: legacy. He's not just the youngest child of a billionaire. He's the only child of a sitting president and a former first lady, growing up under the watch of the Secret Service and the lens of political history. While most teens worry about homework or prom, Barron has grown up surrounded by presidential briefings, global headlines, and whispers of his future. He barely speaks in public. He doesn't need to. His presence alone creates speculation. So what exactly makes Barron Trump so different from other billionaire teens? Is it the fortune, the fame, or maybe, just maybe, it's the dangerous mix of money, mystery, and power? Let's step into his world and see what it's really like to live as the richest teen on the planet. Barron Trump was born into a lifestyle that most people can't even dream of. From the very beginning, his world was high above the streets of Manhattan, literally. He spent his early childhood in the Trump Tower, not just in a fancy apartment, but on an entire private floor reserved just for him. While other kids might have shared a room with siblings, Barron had his own bedroom, playroom, living space, and even quarters for a full-time nanny. And this wasn't just any space. It was decked out with marble floors, gold-plated accents, and floor-to-ceiling windows with a skyline view. Some reports say his room had its own entertainment center, mini gym, and even a small classroom area. Because when you're the son of a billionaire president, playtime and learning often blend into one extravagant experience. But beyond the wealth, what shaped Barron's early years was the deep cultural influence of his mother, Melania. As the only child of the Slovenian-born first lady, Barron was raised speaking both English and Slovene fluently. Melania made sure her roots were part of his upbringing. She was hands-on, choosing to stay at Trump Tower for months after Donald Trump's 2016 election victory, so that Barron could finish the school year without disruption. That decision said a lot about their family dynamic: privacy, protection, and an almost obsessive focus on control. Unlike other billionaire kids who grow up in the public eye with paparazzi trailing their every step, Barron was carefully shielded. While his father made headlines on a daily basis, young Barron was kept mostly out of the spotlight. And yet, every rare photo that leaked of him, whether walking with his parents or boarding a private plane, sparked waves of curiosity. He had everything: wealth, space, luxury, and the total attention of his mother. But what makes it all even more fascinating is how little we actually saw of him. He was the boy in the Golden Tower, real but just out of reach. Imagine waking up every day in a penthouse that's worth over $100 million, with ceilings painted like cathedrals and furniture that looks like it came straight from a royal estate. That's Barron Trump's childhood reality inside Trump Tower. While most kids wake up to cereal and cartoons, Barron woke up surrounded by Italian marble, velvet sofas, and gold-plated everything. His personal floor wasn't just big, it was massive, more like a luxury suite at a 5-star hotel than a child's living space. Every detail was designed to impress, but also to protect. With a high-security elevator, bulletproof windows, and a rotating team of guards, his daily life was wrapped in layers of safety and secrecy. Even his toys were likely custom-made or imported, with entire rooms devoted to entertainment and learning. There are rumors that his playroom was bigger than most New York City apartments, with giant screens, a mini basketball hoop, and shelves full of books, gadgets, and designer games. Rare photos from that time show towering ceilings, chandeliers, and private spaces that look more like a luxury resort than a home. And while other children ran around backyards, Barron's view was the Empire State Building and Central Park, all from behind secure glass. He didn't take school buses, he had private drivers. He didn't play at public parks, he had an entire indoor world to explore. And perhaps what's most interesting is how normalized it must have felt to him. When your normal includes private chefs, priceless art on the walls, and a mom who used to be a supermodel, that's just life. That's Barron's baseline. He wasn't just raised in wealth. He was raised in a tower that looked down on one of the richest cities in the world. And yet, the real story wasn't the height of the building. It was how much of it was kept hidden from the outside. Barron Trump's relationship with his parents is one of the most closely guarded aspects of his life. but what we do know paints a unique picture of both protection and intention. Melania Trump has often described herself as a full-time mom, and she meant it. While the world watched Donald Trump dive headfirst into politics, Melania kept Barron at the center of her life. She didn't hire a small army of nannies or pass off parenting duties. She did it herself. Everything from his schedule to his diet was reportedly managed or approved by her. In fact, after Donald won the 2016 election, Melania made a decision that surprised many. She didn't immediately move into the White House. She stayed in Trump Tower with Barron for several more months, just to make sure he could finish his school year with minimal disruption. That move alone showed how seriously she took his emotional well-being, even as the entire world was watching their every step. As for his father, despite Donald Trump's reputation for being in the spotlight, those close to the family say he's always had a soft spot for Barron. Some sources even say that Barron is the most like Donald in terms of personality: independent, observant, and surprisingly private. Unlike his older siblings who were thrust into business roles early on, Barron has been given time, space. He's not a mini executive in training, at least not yet. He's a teenager growing up in one of the most scrutinized families in the world, and his parents have clearly taken steps to shelter him from the harshest parts of that reality. Together, Donald and Melania seem to operate with one goal when it comes to Barron: protect him, shape him, but don't rush him. And in their world, that says a lot. Barron Trump's school life has always been kept extremely private, but what's clear is that his education has been nothing short of elite. He began at Columbia Grammar and Preparatory School in New York City, a private institution where annual tuition is over $50,000. It's the kind of school with marble staircases, tailored curriculums, and a list of alumni that includes actors, authors, and Wall Street heirs. While other kids were doing basic art class, Barron was probably working on advanced language skills or learning coding before middle school. When the Trump family relocated to the White House, Melania again made a careful decision. Instead of sending Barron to Sidwell Friends School, where the Obamas and Clintons sent their kids, he was enrolled at St. Andrew's Episcopal School in Maryland. The school was known for small class sizes, strong academics, and a serious focus on student well-being. It was a quieter, more low-key environment, which seemed to fit the Trump family's desire to protect his privacy. Since moving to Florida, Barron has reportedly been attending Oxbridge Academy in West Palm Beach, another top-tier private school with a focus on leadership, ethics, and technology. Some rumors suggest he's being prepped for even bigger things, possibly college at UPenn, just like his dad. And let's be real, with his family name, legacy, and connections, he could probably walk into just about any Ivy League school he wanted. But what stands out most is how low profile he's remained. He's not posting from classrooms, not giving interviews about student life, and you won't find him doing TikTok dances with classmates. It's almost like every school he attends is briefed ahead of time. Keep it classy, keep it private, and most importantly, keep Barron out of the noise. And that, in today's world, is rare. Barron Trump's style is one of the most talked about yet least understood parts of his public image. He's never walked a red carpet or done a photo shoot. Yet fashion blogs and social media light up every time he's seen in public. Why? Because unlike most teens who go for hoodies and sneakers, Barron shows up in tailored suits, crisp blazers, and polished shoes, often towering over the crowd at well over 6 feet 6 inches. And the elegance? That's all Melania. As a former model, Melania Trump has a razor-sharp eye for fashion. It's clear she's passed that down to her son. She's been spotted coordinating outfits with Barron during official events, always keeping his look age-appropriate but classy. Custom-fitted suits, sleek trench coats, and designer sneakers. Nothing too loud, just enough to quietly say, this kid comes from power. He's even been compared to royalty in how he presents himself. Not flashy, not attention-seeking, just clean, composed, and deliberate. And that's what makes his fashion so fascinating. He's not dressing for trends, he's dressing for image. Every outfit seems curated to remind people that he's part of something bigger. That he's not just a rich kid, he's a Trump. When you line him up next to other celebrity teens, say the Kardashians' kids or TikTok millionaires, it's a completely different vibe. While others lean into clout-chasing streetwear, Barron looks like he could step into a boardroom or a diplomatic meeting at any moment. And still, he's only a teenager. There's no flashy branding, no bold colors, no trying to be cool. And maybe that's the whole point. Barron Trump style isn't about following fashion. It's about establishing legacy. And even in silence, his wardrobe speaks volumes. Being the son of a billionaire is one thing. Being the son of the sitting president of the United States is a whole different level of intensity. Barron Trump's life has always been under strict security, but during his father's presidency, and now again in 2025, that protection has reached unimaginable levels. From the moment he steps outside, Barron is surrounded by Secret Service agents, armored vehicles, and constant surveillance. Most kids his age get dropped off at school by their parents. Barron gets escorted by a motorcade with agents trained in evasive maneuvers. And yet, what's truly surprising isn't how much he's seen, it's how little. Despite living in the spotlight, Barron makes extremely few public appearances. There are barely any recent videos of him speaking. No press conferences, no interviews. Every now and then, a grainy photo will pop up of him walking beside his parents, and instantly, the internet erupts. His height, his expressions, his fashion, everything becomes headline material. That level of curiosity would crush most kids. But Barron seems to move through it with a kind of quiet strength. There's a long-standing belief among insiders that the Trump family made a very deliberate choice to keep him out of the spotlight. While other political families sometimes lean into the media circus, the Trumps put up walls around Barron. It's said that Melania in particular has been fiercely protective, limiting media access and keeping tight control over any public moments involving her son. It's rare to see a child of a president be this private in the age of social media. Some say it's part of a long-term plan, to let him grow up without the chaos, to shape him for something more serious down the line. Others think it's simply about shielding him from a world that's too harsh. Either way, the result is the same. A teenager who, despite being surrounded by cameras, remains almost completely off the grid. When Barron Trump travels, it's not an economy class with headphones and a neck pillow. His version of getting away usually involves private jets, luxury resorts, and properties most people only see on the covers of glossy magazines. One of his most frequent destinations? Mar-a-Lago, the Trump family's iconic estate in Palm Beach. With its sweeping views of the ocean, marble-covered hallways, and perfectly manicured lawns, it's more of a palace than a vacation home. And for Barron, it's basically the backyard. Then there's the Bedminster Estate in New Jersey, another Trump property complete with a golf course, private villas, and enough security to rival a presidential retreat. These aren't just weekend getaways. They're multi-million-dollar fortresses where Barron can roam freely without photographers peeking through bushes. It's where he's been spotted walking the grounds, always surrounded by a team, but looking relaxed, almost like a normal teen, if normal meant private chefs and endless acres. The Trump family has also traveled extensively, and though we rarely get details, Barron has likely been to Europe more times than most adults. With Melania's roots in Slovenia and Donald's international business ties, destinations like London, Paris, Dubai, and the Mediterranean are probably part of his travel history. And let's not forget Air Force One. While his father is in office, Barron's vacation ride isn't just private, it's presidential. Leather interiors, personalized service, full security detail. It's the kind of travel most people only imagine in dreams. But what's really fascinating is how all of this has stayed under wraps. There are no Instagram stories from the jet, no beach selfies from exotic islands. The luxury is there, it's just kept behind closed doors. This paints a clear picture. Barron Trump doesn't just live in luxury. He moves through it quietly, like someone who knows the value of privacy in a world that constantly overshares. Barron Trump's life is often compared to other rich and famous teens, but the truth is, he's in a league of his own. Take Princess Charlotte, for example. As a member of the British royal family, her every move is documented, celebrated, and analyzed by the press. She attends elite schools, wears designer outfits, and represents a centuries-old monarchy. But despite all that, her life is still very public. Barron, on the other hand, lives like royalty, but without the regular exposure. He has the luxury, the status, and the pedigree, but wrapped in layers of American discretion and presidential-level privacy. Then there's Blue Ivy, the daughter of Beyoncé and Jay-Z. She's attended award shows, recorded music, and sits front row at fashion events. Her life is as luxurious as it gets, but it's also heavily publicized. Social media, red carpets, interviews. It's all part of her brand. Barron, meanwhile, has stayed almost entirely off the digital grid. No verified accounts, no online presence. His influence comes from silence, not performance. Now compare him to today's TikTok millionaires, kids who blow up online, buy mansions, and flaunt it all on camera. Their lives are defined by attention and algorithms. They show everything, and in return, the world consumes them. Barron doesn't play that game. He's not chasing clicks, likes, or viral fame. In fact, he might be the only ultra-wealthy teen who's managed to become more mysterious the more people try to find out about him. And that's exactly what sets him apart. While other rich kids are busy building brands, Barron Trump is being built into something else entirely. His legacy isn't just money. It's politics, power, and a name that already carries massive influence around the world. He's not rich because he went viral. He's rich because he was born into a system of generational wealth and global connections. He's not just living in luxury. He's been bred to manage it, inherit it, and maybe even lead it someday. Barron Trump lives in a world most of us will never touch. He's not just rich. He's rich in silence, rich in mystery, and rich in the kind of influence that doesn't need an introduction. While other teens are posting selfies and dancing for likes, Barron's presence alone triggers global conversation. He doesn't have to speak. He doesn't have to post. The world does the talking for him. There's something incredibly rare about that. In a time when visibility equals power, Barron's lack of presence makes him even more powerful. Every glimpse of him sparks headlines. Every appearance becomes an event. And the fact that no one really knows what he thinks, what he wants, or who he's becoming, that's what fuels the fascination. He's like a living enigma in a family that's been anything but quiet. Think about it. He's the son of the current US president, heir to a billion-dollar empire, and possibly the next generation of Trump legacy. And yet, we know less about him than we do about the pets of other political families. That silence? It's not by accident. It's strategy. It's Melania's discipline, Donald's brand-building instinct, and the security apparatus of an entire nation wrapped around one teenage boy. And still, behind all the headlines and speculation, there's a real person. A teenager growing up in the shadow of the most watched political figure in the world. Someone who's probably heard his name on TV more than in the classroom. Someone who's had to figure out who he is while carrying the weight of expectations, wealth, and legacy that most adults would struggle. What makes Barron Trump so different from other billionaire teens isn't just the money. It's the level of intentional mystery around him, the careful curation, the restraint. And in that silence, we all project our own stories. Some see a future CEO, others see a potential world leader. Some see a quiet kid just trying to have a normal life. But the truth? Only Barron, and maybe his inner circle, really knows what's coming next. And maybe that's why we're all so obsessed. Not because of what he's done, but because of what he might do, what he might become. Because in a world overflowing with content, he remains the one rich teen who's done the impossible. Stayed quiet, stayed classy, and still captured the world's attention. So here's the question we're left with. Is luxury still luxury if you never show it off? Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more deep dives into the world's most fascinating lives.